this is Tuesday. The sun is entering Aries. Now, as you can see, there's going to be a little bit of changes happening even from Monday to Tuesday with Mercury, because Mercury likes doing things. But instead of being on the other side of the North Node, which we saw on Monday, now it's sandwiched in between the North Node and Chiron. Now, let's just understand how this might change things. When it was on the other side of the North Node, we were more going to be talking about what we want to do, things we want to accomplish. Now that it's sandwiched in the middle, this is going to take on the flavor of the things I want to do and I want to accomplish. I feel like I'm not worthy of them. It's going to get that really heavy sour note. Like, because I said it was there on Monday, that sour note's there, and it's like getting more sour as Mercury's getting closer to Chiron. It's like, instead of it being like, oh, this new outlook, it's going, oh, my old wounds. It's like, it's going into more that energy as we move into Tuesday. And on top of that, the sun's going to be entering Aries, which we can see down here. Now, with the sun being out of Pisces, we're not going to feel like as emotionally driven to react to ego, because Pisces is like our emotionality. With Aries, it's going to be more of these triggers we've been dealing with when it comes to like our personal selves. It's not going to be like the boundaries and the love and the stuff we've been dealing with in Pisces and feeling emotional with that stuff. Oh, sorry, I think I knocked my mic. This thing's new. I'm not used to it. But the sun moving out of Pisces is like we're leaving that emotional body behind that we're using to protect ourselves and express ourselves and all this other stuff. We're moving away from that dreamy kind of like boundaryless energy into this me of Aries that we've been dealing with like our, because we've already been talking this way. Like, our communication's over here. Like, we've been thinking this way, we've been talking this way, like, and if we haven't been saying things yet, it's been going around in our mind so much that it's getting to the point that we feel like we really want to say something. And having the sun move here is like it's illuminating this. It's like it's getting closer to illuminating the problem. So it's almost like if you haven't quite figured out what's going on, what could happen is the sun moving into Aries on Tuesday could spark either a situation, because this is late. This is like late at night, right? So some of you might be asleep depending on your time. Others might happen a little like early morning for you, things like that. But what this is really doing is it's like going to be bringing you into Wednesday. There might be like a new situation, unless you're a late, like a night owl and things tend to happen like opposite for you. But then there might be some things happening late if you're more of like the late hours person for like your work or like, you know, your groups that you like communicate with and stuff. But if you're not, it's going to be like waking up Wednesday, the people you're associating with, it's going to be the topics that come up, what goes on at work, the people that like reach out to you, the things like that. All of these things are going to be getting pushed on by this energy where these situations are coming up to show us more and more, since the sun's in Aries, is trying to illuminate where we aren't working on what we should be. And this is getting closer and closer to the eclipse, because the eclipse is in when the moon gets into Libra. So the sun will be in Aries. This means that we're already kind of feeling the tension that the eclipse is building Tuesday, because it's there. Like, the sun's in Aries, like we're feeling this tension. There could be things coming up that are going to come to a head the following week when the eclipse happens, because it's building to get you there. It's trying to get you to a place where you're seeing where you're using your wounds as a way to get out of doing the very things that you're passionate about, and it's going to put it so up in your face that it might make you angry. It is really important to remember that these things are being shown to you so that you can't pretty much like keep hitting the escape button, like you're just trying to get away from it. It's like Pisces energy was really like doing for a lot of people the thing of I'm getting away from this. I don't want to deal with this. I need like just to do anything else but this. Like there is a lot of like pulling away with Pisces energy. And as more planets keep going and like moving out of this Pisces energy, there's going to be less and less and less of the veil that's like over everyone's eyes. And which we'll really see a lot of that like next year when Neptune and Saturn start trying to dip into Aries. Like we're going to see a lot of things that have been kept hidden from everybody with this stuff in Neptune, because that's what Neptune and the stuff in Pisces, Neptune and Saturn in Pisces, because that's what Neptune energy does. It hides things, it puts illusions up. That's why it's like, you know, filmmaking and movies, because it's literally all an illusion of like something that's happening. It's all acted out. So it's like the big curtain is going to be pulled away for at least a little bit next year when there's like those slight ingresses. But right now what we're getting is like this taste of it on a personal level, because these are all very like personal energies, like the Mercury and Sun and like our North Node, like our personal like North Star, and like our personal wound in Chiron. Like it's very personal energy. It's not going to be till we start getting those generational planets like trying to dip their toes in that we're going to really see this massive shift when it comes to like our collective energy, because there's just going to be so much more happening. But that's why it's important to use this right now and not wait till it's a collective energy to actually get the work done. Like use the personal energy to get your personal shit done, you know? Like don't make excuses for it. Don't try to find ways around it. It's like, it's way easy to do it. It's way, way easy to do it, especially with this Pisces energy. It's almost like putting up these boundaries and putting up these structures and putting up these routines and doing these things that are good for yourself have like this extra barrier in front of it that just feel hard, because it's like you're fighting not just through water, but like this deep sea of pressure, because that's what Pisces energy, that 12th house energy represents, is like that deep sea energy where there's just pressure and it just seems like it's endless. So it's like when you're fighting against that and you feel like you're fighting against things that are very endless, it can almost like drain you of the motivation to do anything, which I feel like a lot of people are going through right now. It's why like the mental health crisis is like starting to peak and go higher and higher and higher, because people are feeling very lost in this right now, because it's an energy you can easily get lost in. Because I know it's like, you know, astrologers talking about, oh, Venus is in Pisces, it's exalted. Yeah, it is, but it's like sitting with Saturn, and eventually it's going to be sitting in between Saturn and Neptune. And it's like those energies, like with Saturn, Venus is feeling squished. It's like it's trying to love people, but Saturn is like, what's wrong with you? It's like, not in my space. You need to chill out. You need to put up boundaries, all this unconditional love crap. You need to get on with that. And as soon as it moves in between, it's going to be like some people are just going to get ultimately very delusional, because Neptune is just going to be adding to that. There will be a lot of nice things coming out of it. A lot of people that are really stepping forward and trying to do the right thing and help the people that are, you know, less fortunate, because that's also Pisces energy, that charity, that like unconditional, like loving divine energy. But at the same time, as we're seeing that, we're also seeing people suffering. So it's like, there wouldn't be any reason for people to step forward and be helping the needy if there wasn't needy. And that's kind of like the hinge that we're at right now, where it's coming to that point. The people that can't help themselves in this Aries energy, the hope is going to be that there's going to be people that rise out of this Pisces energy that have that kind of devotion, that want to help the people that can't help themselves. And that's going to be kind of what things hinge on with this. Like there's definitely like possibility for it, because we have the Jupiter and Uranus happening over here. Uranus like changing structures that don't work, just ripping things up, and Jupiter like giving us all this like extra oomph to rebuild and like have it stable when it's rebuilt. It's like it's there, but at the same time, it's like it can be very hard. Now, hopefully you're sleeping. Like I said, like this is some pretty heavy energy, and it's like bringing up what your main course of the eclipse is going to be like the following week. It's starting to it's tipping its toe into that, and it's starting to show you what you're going to be dealing with. And the eclipse energy is going to be going for like half a year. It like lasts around 6 months. So whatever pops up, just realize it isn't going to be an overnight thing. It's going to be brought up, then it's going to be revisited very harshly with this Mercury retrograde bringing you back, and then going back over it again. And then like it's going to be sitting where this thing is finally maybe going to be quieted down, like like I said, 6 months from now, it's going to quiet down and finally reach its completion. Maybe. For some people, no. Some people it'll go until next year because there isn't going to be another eclipse in Aries to kind of shut it off. It really depends on what's going on in your chart. But aside from that, Pluto is in opposition to the moon late Tuesday evening when all this is happening and when the sun's going into Aries. This is, once again, like I said, Pluto wants us to be objective. It wants us to take our power back. It wants us to be in more control of our emotions because it's feeling like, what the heck is all this crap going on in Pisces up there? Like we need to like get more control over what's happening. Now, directly opposing the Leo moon. The Leo moon is like, I just want to be happy. I just want to have fun. Why do I have to deal with all these heavy emotions? And it can also be people that are very immature and don't know how to express their emotions, being very dramatic. Now, some people, it might literally just be like, I don't want to have to think about all this heavy stuff. I'd rather just have fun. And that's kind of like the energy. But for some people, it's literally going to be like having to learn how to have boundaries with people that have very dramatic emotions and like how to deal with that. And this is like kind of showing you, or situation, doesn't have to be people, it can be situations, like whatever's going on with you. But it's like what's being shown to you is how much of your power you give away in certain situations when you feel the emotion in the situation is too big, like how you react to it. And it's trying to get you to see like what your response is to that. And is it coming from like a loving place, or is it coming from a fear-based place? And like really trying to make you work on it. So, I mean, something could crop up, but I feel like it's going to be more like moving into Wednesday, where some things might start popping up for people with the sun moving into Aries. But some people might get some late night Tuesday, whatever this is going on with them, where it gets activated. But still, the Uranus square to Mars is still active. All the stuff I said from Monday is still active with that square. It is still there. Like, it doesn't just go away because it's Tuesday. As long as this square is staying, all that stuff I've been saying for the Uranus square is staying there. So the next thing we're moving